iOS 18 is finally here from Apple, and after using it for a few days, I definitely have some things to say. For starters, iOS 18 is packed with features and changes, giving us all every feature we ever asked for. And supposedly in theory, this is the best update ever. So in this video, I will simply show you the best iOS 18 features, the ones that need some work, and the overall performance and battery. So let's begin. Now, I know a lot of you will be questioning whether or not you should update, or if you've updated, is this update alright? And in my experience, some things are a real problem. So let's get those out the way. While everyone has been saying how great iOS 18 has been, problems I have faced have continued to rise. And this honestly feels like a beta for some reason. For starters, the control center, where Apple completely designed it from the ground up, and while it looks visually very appealing, is a serious mess. To begin, moving toggles are a real pain. Where sometimes for me, holding down brings the edit mode, and sometimes it does not work. Then, when moving toggles around, they don't always follow exactly where I want to place them. And that's not the only thing. The brightness and volumes buttons for me are just too small. And of course they are the one things we can't resize. This makes it really difficult for me to change the brightness on my screen in a sunny condition, or increase the volume quickly when needed. Sometimes I do something I do daily. It doesn't stop there. Where is the individual Wi-Fi toggles? Yep, you can see for yourself that Apple has not added an individual Wi-Fi toggle. Apple giving Bluetooth, airplane mode, mobile data and forgetting Wi-Fi? That just seems very unlike Apple. What is happening? Another issue, swiping between pages. On the control center. When I touch toggles, sometimes it only taps the toggle rather than swiping between the page. Now I know you can swipe up and down like this, but it's honestly much more difficult than the simple control center we all used to know and love. And in that way, the control center definitely needs some work. But that's not all. Put your phone in landscape mode, and the control center is a complete mess. What is this? This is absolutely terrible. More toggles have been moved around, nothing looks centered, and honestly, I can't understand how Apple has managed to release a software with such a frustrating experience. And I don't know what has happened, but this really needs to change. This being very unlike Apple themselves, I seriously can't understand how they managed to ship this as a final public release. But don't worry, I know what you're also frustrated about. Everyone knows brand new Photos app. Yes, that's right. The complete redesign, while visually not terrible, is just confusing. It doesn't make sense, and sometimes I can't find what I truly need. While I do like some features, like the search looks really cool and aesthetic, other aspects are just confusing. Especially when clicking on a photo and opening it up. This layout just seems very un-Apple-like. Now, that's not the only thing that's a real problem with the new Photos app in iOS 18. Guys, I'm sorry to tell you, but Apple has officially killed Visual Lookup. Because it has completely disappeared. Visual Lookup was introduced with iOS 15 and allows you to take a picture of a plant or an animal and swipe up to know more about it. Yet in this update, 3 years later, and I can't seem to find it. Very strange. Apple removing headlining features in such an amazing update is honestly a real disappointment. and I really hope they bring it back, because it was something I would use daily to find information about different things on the go. Now, I really wish that was all, but unfortunately, there's a lot. iOS 18 has brought some really confusing changes. For example, open Face ID and passcode. Now try and swipe down. Doesn't work. Press done. Doesn't work. Why do I have to reach the cancel button? Similarly with the control center. It feels very unintuitive and not the way Apple usually redesigns software. And these are the changes that make iOS so special. So it's really disappointing to see iOS 18, the biggest and best update, bringing the few features that we all really wanted, removing iOS experience as a whole. Now you must be thinking, that must be it, right? iOS 18 can't be that bad, there can't be so many problems. But go back to the Photos app and find another video. And yet, while scrubbing, I can't even see the different frame. This is extremely difficult for someone like me who tries to edit my videos and wants to find the exact point of a specific video. While I know that I usually use editing tools to edit my videos, finding information and specific scenes straight from the camera app was something I would also do very, very commonly. And now Apple has removed that too. I know this is confusing and I know this is frustrating, but don't worry, iOS 18 isn't all gloom and dull. Let's discuss some of the great things about iOS 18 as a whole. Customization is at the heart of the iPhone with iOS 18, and honestly, Apple did not disappoint. Changing to darker icons on the go look absolutely incredible and work flawlessly. And while there are some updates which have not adjusted to the new darker mode, it still looks incredible for the ones that work. And I'm sure that in the future, more developers will bring a darker mode icon to that app on iOS 18. Not only that, but changing the lock screen toggles have been incredibly amazing. Being able to finally customize this to any app that I wish is so beneficial, allowing me to open things instantly, making it less likely for me to get distracted while using my phone, since I can open more important tasks on the go. Honestly, I can't even believe that this feature is even real, and this is definitely the best top features for iOS 18 for someone like me. It's being able to open messages in an instant, or play a game when I feel like it, just by tapping a shortcut toggle on the lock screen is a seriously huge convenience. And is definitely a long time overdue feature, like a lot of iOS 18 changes. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Maths Note. In the calculator app. Allowing you to write out an equation and instantly tell you the answer. And this is a feature I know students, like myself, would love so much, making it much easier to learn maths. And this is a really enjoyable and useful feature to use. It is quick and works most of the time. And I would definitely say this is one of Apple's one feature that they really thought out while creating iOS 18. Now, while I do say that, it doesn't work 100% of the time. as it is finicky when trying to write it out with your hand. However, typing it out works great. So quick, so fast, I don't even have to think about it. That is the way that I know Apple. And while there are some features in iOS 18, as I previously discussed, which just don't follow this pattern, Maps Note is definitely one which Apple has thought through carefully. And from creating graphs, solving equations, and different problems, it is so much easier to learn maths now, making this a really enjoyable feature. And while it is more useful on the iPad, having it on the iPhone is just a great addition. So, if you want to make your maths calculations easier, using this is a no-brainer. It's quick, works all the time, and I'll definitely say this is one of the features that Apple took the most time in creating. However, that's not all. There are some other features which I've used which have genuinely changed my life with iOS 18 and work so incredible. And that's with features in the Messages app. Apple has added some great features in the Messages app, allowing you to send messages later, which is super beneficial when you forget something or if you're going to turn off your phone later. Having the ability to type a message, press send later, and choose a specific time, knowing that it will send without you having to think about it, and then press send, making it very clear that you won't forget any specific important details that you had to send off, while also making sure that you're not disturbing the person in the process. Text effects is a great feature, allowing you to make things bold, underline them, having this cool ripple effect. And it's just really fun. And the best part is you can do it to a specific part of it as well. Like a specific letter or character. Apple has thought this through extremely well. And there's another one of those features which has just changed the way the iMessage works and runs. Another great feature is RCS, which you might have all heard, and while that isn't supported yet on my carrier, it is another feature that really brings Android and iPhones closer together, and is what makes iOS 18 such a special update, since it's things I'd never imagined in the iPhone coming to reality. Now, another major great feature that again I never even imagined is in Safari, and that's called Distraction Control. Distraction Control allows you to hide entire parts of a page, making it super clear, and the animation on this is unmatched. Apple has smashed the animation, making it so smooth, so clear, and so fun to use. I've used it on ads, and the fact that when you come back, it's no longer there is just really incredible. Getting things that are distracting on a web page is another feature, again, I never imagined that Apple would bring to the iPhone, and is one I'd never even thought was possible. Allowing you to move annoying ads on the go in a moment. And this is really amazing. Now, while this is an incredible feature, there are times when it fails, and this is during more active ads which change constantly. But again, for a feature I never imagined would exist on the iPhone, it is truly incredible. Now, finally, I have to say, another really well thought out app is the Passwords app. And while I thought I wouldn't care much for an app such as the Passwords app, it has definitely been so useful to find passwords on the go without having to search in settings. Settings was confusing and honestly not fun while using. But this Passwords app makes it easy to access any password I wish to find. And is more useful than I even expected. Now while I say it wasn't a groundbreaking feature, it's definitely a nice to have. So overall, iOS 18 brings some incredibly great features and changes. And if you go into my settings, you can see the battery has been pretty average, giving me around 6 to 10 hours on my iPhone 13 Pro, with 86% battery health. That's not bad, though I have felt that the battery on iOS 18 is still not up to the par. But regardless though, overall I feel like iOS 18 is like a beta 7 version than a final release. And while there's no major issues, it really uses some of Apple's magic software experience. Regardless, iOS 18 is a featureful update and I can't complain, as we have several iOS 18.0 updates to go. So hopefully these get resolved near the end of the iOS 18 cycle. Otherwise, please subscribe, like and comment. On iOS 18, or are you still sticking with iOS 17? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.